Hello and welcome back to the channel. Over the years I've collected quite a few of these multi-tools and they can be really handy, so I thought I'd talk you through some of them and show you the differences. The market leader in this business is arguably Leatherman, and people are willing to pay a lot more for them because they're made in the USA. But I was not made in the USA, so I don't particularly care. Are they better because they're more expensive? Probably, but is the Leatherman Surge 5 times better than this one, say? I don't think so. Victorinox also make a Swiss tool. I don't know about those, I haven't used one, but they're as expensive as the Leatherman, and I'm sure being Victorinox they're good. You can go too cheap. This one was only a few pounds from Wilko, and I think they do possibly have a better one available now. I got it as a sort of compact emergency spare for the car toolkit, thinking I'd only use the pliers. I was going to say the price is acceptable for the quality, but given that the Bibury I'm about to show you is less than £20 on Amazon, there's really no reason to buy one as cheap as this. I don't know if you've seen a film called 127 Hours. It's a perfectly acceptable stocking filler, Mum. There's no way you could have known that my life would depend on it. And then this is the one that I've had the longest and used loads. I don't know the brand or the cost actually. I think it was a gift a long time ago. I believe it's a clone of one of the very first Leatherman designs, and I like it because it's compact. It's straight, there are no bits sticking out, so it fits well in your pocket. It also qualifies as a folding knife under UK knife law because the blade is under 3 inches and doesn't lock, so you can carry something like this for just general purpose use with no specific reason in mind. Right, I was looking for something with a bit more clout and more features, and I found this brand called Bibury. I wasn't quite sure if it was a /, but no, apparently it's an I. That's Bibury. And this model is actually called the 21-in-1 multi-purpose pocket knife pliers kit. Yeah. Amazingly, this is currently on sale for less than £20 on Amazon, which is an amazing price. There's also an identical looking one branded by Mossy Oak, and I don't know if they're exactly the same, but I wouldn't be surprised. Now this is something like 1/5 of the price of the Leatherman, but is it 1/5 of the tool? No, definitely not. I've been very happy with this. Let's start with the most important features first, the pliers. It's a really strong, long-nosed, pointy pair of pliers with good grip. Now, none of these are as pleasant to use and hold as a proper pair of pliers. If you're doing work with pliers all day long, for goodness sake, use a proper pair. But for the occasional job now and then, these are fine. They're just a little bit less comfortable to hold. But the reason these kinds of tools exist is to have a large number of different tools available in one package. I like the spring-loaded pliers, which the more expensive ones actually don't have. It means you can just operate them with one hand and they open easily like that. They've got built-in cutters, which are useful, they work fine. But if you chip them on something too hard, they can't be replaced. So that's worth bearing in mind. All the rest of the tools are accessed from the outside of the tool. So the knife here, which locks. On the opposite side we've got a file, which is small but works fairly well, and a ruler, which is almost completely useless but not totally. You could, for example, if you're checking the screws, figure out whether this is a 20 or a 25mm screw, or how big a drill bit is or something, but it's obviously not any use for measuring anything significant. And then next to it is a screwdriver bit holder, and this is excellent. It takes full-size hex bits, not the funny flat business that Leatherman do. There are some bits provided in this little pouch which are double-sided, and you get 3 different Phillips, 2 Torx and 3 flathead screwdrivers. Apparently no one in America knows anything about posi drive, but it doesn't matter because you can just take a bit from your own kit and add it in there just fine. You do need to use the longer versions though. If you need to use the short ones, they will just disappear in there and fall all the way in. So you could always add a bit holder like this to your kit, and then you've got access to your large selection of small screwdriver bits like that. All the tools actually lock, which is really great, and you can see how it works here. Yeah, you've got the sort of claw thing which drops down into this little detent on each tool, like that. And the screwdriver holder actually locks at 90 degrees or 180 degrees for extra leverage, which is good. We've got the serrated blade there, which is pretty terrifying, frankly. I don't know what that's for, I've never used it. And a wood saw, which is short but pretty aggressive, and it works quite well. You're not going to be making any fine cuts with it, but you could cut your way through a branch, or roughly cut a piece of timber, or enlarge a hole or something to do a little fix. And there are a few more smaller tools in here. Can opener with a small screwdriver on the end, and cap lifter. We've got a bottle opener and large screwdriver, and a reamer spike. But again, all the tools lock, which is great. No more stabbing yourself in the hand when you're opening a can. Overall opinion, I absolutely love this tool. The quality is great. It feels weighty and reliable. It's got sturdy construction. You've got a choice of bits, but most importantly, you can include your own screwdriver bits. Okay, don't get me wrong, I've been super happy with the tool I've just showed you, but while I was sorting out toolkits for the car and bike and office and so on, I got interested in this model. Actually, it's this one, which has got a couple of extra interesting features. It's called the Multitool Pliers Pro, and I believe this is a clone of a Leatherman Surge. Let's look at the pliers first. This time they're actually not spring-loaded, which means you have to use a finger to open them. It's not a big deal, but I preferred them with the spring. The handles feel similarly uncomfortable. Again, fine to use occasionally for a quick job here and there, but if you're using them all day, grab yourself a proper pair. The big upgrade here is that the wire cutter bit is replaceable. So you can see in there you can remove the tungsten carbide bit, and Bibury actually give you one extra set of cutting bits and a special torque wrench to change it. Let's give it a little try. Yeah, absolutely fine with some flex. It's flex, not cable. You know the difference. Let's try it on a cable tie. Yeah, no problem. Or how about a bit of wooden drink stirrer? Yeah, no problem at all. On this model, some of the small tools fold out from the inside, so let's have a look at them first. We've got a tin opener / cap lifter in one. We've got a small screwdriver, a large screwdriver, and a reaming spike again. These tools all lock in the same way as before, so there's a button to push on the outside of the handle, which is now the inside, to release them, like that. While the handles are open like this, we can see the ruler on this model is much larger. It goes across the middle like that, and you have to have the pliers closed to get the two ends of the ruler to join up. I mean, it's obviously more useful, but it's still a bit weird and tricky to try and measure something or draw a pencil line. But at least it could tell you whether this was the 200mm or the 250mm version of a tool or something like that. Now, the screwdriver bit holder folds out from the other side, and because it's internal, there's no 90-degree position. It would just get stuck there, so it only goes to 180 degrees, but that's not a problem because it's a big object to get hold of lots of torque, and you could even do this if you wanted to. This holder is different from the previous one. It's shorter and it's not magnetic, so the bits they give you are actually these ball detent style with double ends, and you get a larger selection this time. We've got 2 sizes of Phillips. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Allen keys, including the IKEA sizes. More importantly, we've got 4 sizes of flat bits, 4 Torx drives, and this weird security bit that I've never seen before, and by coincidence had to use for the first time taking something apart the other day. So I was grateful to have it that day. I think it's a bit of a weird choice here. But there's still no posi drive, and I can't find a source for these ball detent bits. Let me know if you know of one, but I actually kind of don't want to, because I'd rather be able to use my own bits. Like if you've got a nice kit like this or another set that you're using, I don't necessarily want a specialised set of bits to go with this where you can't use other ones. It's not a deal breaker. You can use a posi drive bit or some other. It just has no retention, so it'll just fall straight out again. onto the outside tools, which are the blades. And again, we've got a locking blade, which means this is not UK legal. You can't carry this in the UK without a good reason, and the law is pleasingly vague on what constitutes a good reason. I think if you're a tradesperson or a carpenter or something and you're on your way to a job, I think that's clearly a good reason, but I would probably expect it to be in the bottom of a toolkit or a bag or a van or something. If it's in the front pocket of your hoodie while you're walking around Tesco's, I think you'll have a harder time explaining to the police why you're on your way to a job. But these blades come pretty sharp. I have already used this for quite a bit of stuff, but I could do better, but that's good enough for me. On the opposite side, we've got again the serrated blade. Pretty terrifying, I've never used that for anything. We've got a pair of scissors, which is really quite effective. They're larger than the ones on, oh, that's interesting. It doesn't open, it doesn't lock straight away. With some of the tools, you find you have to really push them. But that does mean you've got a firm lock, then there's no slop there, they're not going to fall apart. The scissors are quite large and very sharp, and they work very well. We can just try a couple things here. Let's try some paracord, no problem at all. Let's try the zip tie. Zip tie, what you're talking about is a cable tie. Yeah, fine. And the McDonald's drink stirrer. Yeah, that one went in my mouth. I am making a mess. The final tool on here, which I think is very interesting, potentially very useful, is this. This is a T-shank jigsaw bit holder. And it comes out of the package containing a metal file, which is pretty good, and a diamond file, which is obviously very good, but how long it lasts, I don't know. But you can easily open up the jaw like this, and then in theory replace it with any T-shank jigsaw bit you've got. They give you a couple of wood bits here, which I have not found particularly good. For one thing, they wobble. And they would work well in an electric jigsaw, but by hand it just bites too much. I found that hard to use. I did have a lot more success with this one from McAllister, aka B&Q, and I used another one before. It actually didn't quite fit, which gives me a perfect opportunity to try this. Look at that. Amazing. So with better blades you can do a lot better, including a blade for metal or plastic. It doesn't shut like that though with any other kind of blade in. You've got to put back the original file. Right, so for an overall opinion, this is another excellent quality tool. It was about twice as expensive as the previous one. It's on sale now for £39. But if you want some of the extra tools it's got, I think that's still very good value, especially compared to the Leatherman, and the quality is just as good as the previous. It's a really tricky decision to know which to get. The more functions and features you want built in, well, the heavier it is and the less likely you are to carry this heavy object everywhere. So for me, it works as a desk drawer item or to grab it on my way to do a job or help someone with something. So you can get things done without having to go to your main toolkit in the garage or shed. But some of the tools are a bit rubbish compared to a full-size tool, you know, like the file is really small and the scissors are great, but you might want bigger, and you know, the wood saw, if you use one, it's not great. A real saw is better. So if you are going to be carrying other tools, you might not want a great big lump like this. I'm going to talk about the bike EDC kit later, but little spoiler coming up, because I've already got a pair of pliers. This is the excellent Knipex Cobra pliers. I realised, well, I don't actually want a large multi-tool that contains pliers. So I found this smaller one, also by Bibury, whose main function is the scissors. I'll show you these in another video because this one's getting a bit too long. Ultimately then, it's a tricky decision. You might be thinking about carrying just one tool with you, and so a fully featured one like this would be really useful. But if you find, actually, I do most of my work either at my desk or in the car or at the workbench, you might have less use for this if you've got some full-size tools available as well. But at these kind of prices, I think it's not too hard to justify the cost. Would I be willing to pay £130 for a Leatherman to do a similar kind of thing? No. Right. I have made a mess. I hope that was helpful and interesting. Let me know if you'd be interested in any more specific tool videos, but whatever you say, I'm going to be doing the EDC kit coming up soon, and also how I get on with those Vera spanners when I change the bike's front brake pads. That's coming up soon on the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.